Well, today's the last day for Democratic presidential candidates to qualify for next month's debate in Houston. Barring something unexpected, 10 candidates have qualified for the debate. That'll take place September 12th at Texas Southern University. Joe Biden, Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, Julian Castro, Pete Buttigieg, Beto O'Rourke, Cory Booker, Amy Klobuchar, and Andrew Yang. Because only 10 candidates have made the cut, the DNC is holding one night of debates instead of two. Joining me now is a candidate who hasn't managed to qualify for the next debate, former Maryland Congressman John Delaney. So, John, I got to look at these numbers here. To qualify, you have to have 4 polls showing 2% support, and then you've got to have 135,000 individual donors, right? You didn't make the cut.
I didn't.
So what makes you think you can qualify for October?
Well, because, you know, it's 30 more days, so we have more time. And I just think it's early in many ways. I think it's surprising that the DNC is doing what they're doing. They're basically eliminating half the field from the debates, including sitting U.S. governors, senators, members of Congress. And I just think it's early. So, you know, we're still full steam ahead and are incredibly committed to the campaign and plan on continuing the campaign, because in many ways the only thing that matters is what happens in the Iowa caucus, which is not happening for 6 months. Yeah.
So to qualify for these debates, you need $135,000 of individual.
130,000 individual donors.
Individual donors.
That's right.
How much do you have right now?
Well, we don't disclose, but we're making good progress.
More than 10,000?
Oh, yeah.
20?
Well, again, I'm not going to get
30?
You'll narrow me down, so I'm not going to.
Okay. You know,
I took the bait on your first one, but then I was like,
I'm going to back up on that. You know, let's say you don't qualify for October. Is it game over at that point?
No. No, again, I think it's early. I think we're just starting to have the conversations we need to have. I mean, we haven't talked about foreign policy, for example, at all in these primaries. We haven't talked about trade. You know, we're in the middle of a trade war, and it's causing a global economic slowdown. And I'm the only person running who actually supports President Obama's initiative to be in the Trans-Pacific Partnership. And these are the kind of things we should be talking about. We're going to see an economic slowdown. Okay, what are the candidates' plans for actually getting the economy started again? Because I think there's a decent chance that the next president, a Democrat, is going to have to deal with an economy that is going to need some either stimulus or new policies to get it going again.
Everyone's concerned about the economy. It's always a big focus in every election.
It's always the number one issue.
It's always the number one issue. You were actually the first Democrat to come forward. This was back in, I think it was July of 2017. I interviewed you as you made the news. I want to play that clip for you. You announced your candidacy last July.
That's right.
30 months before Iowa and New Hampshire.
That's right.
Why'd you do it so early?
I had to, right? Because I think I'm the right person for the job and I have the right vision, but not enough people know who I am. So there's 2 ways of solving that problem. Doing outrageous things that gets me lots of attention, right? And most of those things would be things I don't believe in or agree with. Or get out really early and do the hard work.
So do you feel like people know you now?
I do, in Iowa and New Hampshire.
You do?
I mean, I subscribe to the exact same strategy I had when I sat down with you. You know, my approach is the early state strategy. I've spent a lot of time in Iowa, a lot of time in New Hampshire. And I think the Iowa caucus is really the first poll, if you will, and it's not a poll, it's a caucus, that's really going to change the field.
So, you know, I'm looking at this morning consult poll. It found 19% of respondents view you favorably, 16% view you unfavorably, and 34% say they haven't even heard of you.
Right.
And they have no opinion. 31% haven't heard of you at all.
Right.
Isn't that troubling?
Well, I don't think it's troubling. I think it's the problem when you have 25 people running and you're still 6 months away from the first caucus. I mean, if you go back when Bill Clinton became the president in 1992, he announced in October, and the first debate was in January, before the Iowa caucus.
Right.
And so I just think most Americans don't really dial into this stuff until we get closer. I think most Americans who are kind of living their lives, worrying about their job and their family, raising their family, those kind of things, still haven't really dialed into politics. Who has dialed into politics are the activists, which tend to be more extreme and tend to want to, pursue candidates who are promising all kinds of stuff that they can never deliver on. But I think as more Americans get focused on the election, it becomes a more solutions-oriented, moderate voting base who want us to dial down the noise and start getting things done.
You talk about the voters that really matter.
Yeah.
You've actually put in $15 million of your own money into this campaign. I think Tom Steyer's put in 12, less than you at this point. Do you worry that, putting your own personal wealth into something like this could hurt you when the Democratic primary, people have focused on sort of wealth distribution at this point?
Well, we haven't put in 15. We put in 9, which is still a lot of money. No, I don't think it matters. I mean, I think people are fine with you investing in your campaign.
And are you concerned about that? That people might view you as somebody who's just wealthy? But
You know, it's funny, when I campaign around Iowa, New Hampshire, and I've done over 400 events in these 2 states, I never get that question. Right?
I think people don't ask.
People look at me, and I was a blue-collar kid, first in my family to go to college, started 2 businesses, created thousands of jobs. I think they like the fact that my wife and I are this committed to what we believe in. I think they like the fact that I'm obviously not in anyone's pocket. I don't take corporate donations or PAC money. I'm doing this because it's what I really believe. Everything I'm running on is true to who I am, and I'm actually serving for the right reason. And I think the fact that I'm willing to invest significant amounts of money in my own campaign, I think most Americans kind of think of it that way. They're like, it's great you're doing this. Thank you. It's public service. And you're obviously not bought and sold by someone because you're investing your own money in the campaign.
And John, if it doesn't work out for you, what would you want to do next?
Well, first of all, I think it's going to work out. But about 10 years ago, my wife and I decided to dedicate the rest of our lives to public service. We felt like we've been very blessed. And the right thing for us to do is to live the rest of our lives trying to serve other people. That's why I ran for Congress. That's why I served in the Congress. That's why I'm running for president. So the rest of my life will be really dedicated to public service.
All right, I want to thank you very much.
Thanks for having me.
For joining us. John Delaney,
great.
grateful to have you here on set.
Thanks.